Hi guys. Hi there. This is Simeon from Swedish Homestead. I'm just saying this for the guys who will later tune in to watch this video. Want to check first up if you guys can hear me well. Some people have said hello already through the chat. Can you guys hear me well and see me well? There's a little funny lighting. I'm sitting in my car here, but if somebody could just chat if they can hear me well. Got a whole bunch of people watching already. Hi guys. Oh, that's great. You can hear me. So, doing a live update and live Q&A today, and this is quite exciting. I'm gonna allow for some time to for the people to join the video. Just want to update you guys on a couple things until more people have tuned in. Again, we're doing a live update, live Q&A today with you guys. Hello everybody, I see you guys are chatting from all over the world. This is unbelievable. Japan, Brazil, Australia, this is Austria and Poland. It's quite amazing. Anyways, I'm sitting in the car here because it's very, very windy outside. We are having another windstorm. We've had such weird weather all winter long, and this is where I can get a little quiet away from the kids and the wind and everything. So just wanted to update you guys on a couple things before I get to some questions. So in a little bit you guys can ask some questions, and obviously there are over 100 people watching already. It's increasing by the second here, and there will be a lot of questions coming in, I'm sure. So I won't be able to answer all of them. I will have to pick a little bit, and you hope you're not too disappointed if I won't be able to answer your question. One big update is that I sold the 2 little pigs that were in our greenhouse. The reason for that is that they didn't work out the way I wanted to, and they weren't really my thing. I'm not saying it doesn't work, people will definitely be able to work with those pigs, but I have to focus right now on the poultry and the gardening, and really have to see where I put my money and my time and everything. And I still have my 2 heritage breed pigs, and those pigs will definitely be doing a lot of work here on the farm. They will definitely be doing some tilling in the garden for me, and hopefully we'll have a male to breed with and get some piglets very soon. So yeah, that's a big update. The 2 pigs, they were actually picked up this morning. And then somebody had already written that they wouldn't be able to join this live feed, but they had a question, and that was when I would start transplanting plants into the greenhouse where the chickens are in right now. And the chickens are still in there. I could technically right now move them out already, but I want to keep them in there a little longer, and we will transplant our seedlings in there probably the beginning of May. We can have frost here till late May. A couple of years ago we had frost at midsummer, which was crazy, and then there was the last frost, and the first frost after summer was in August already. So that's always very tricky as far north as we live. So I will wait a little more with that, because I don't want to heat that big greenhouse. That would cost a lot of money, and if I would put the tomato plants and bell pepper plants in there right now, I think that it would really they would die because we still have frost at night. So we'll see a little bit. Have to get a feel for that still. So anyway, it's great doing a live stream with you guys. I just see all the questions pouring in here, and people chatting, people from all over the world. Thank you guys. This is awesome. Just you guys being so interested in what we're doing. Obviously, this is first time us doing a live session like this, and you know, it's not easy for me to get the right time so that most of my audience can watch. Obviously, the weekends will probably be better, and we are definitely willing to do something like this on the weekends where you guys don't work and would have the chance to follow this a little more. So I saw a question about the greenhouse, the new frame that we got, when and where we will set it up. I don't know yet. I think I will first use it this fall, to be honest. Partially because right now it's very critical financially on the farm. You know, every cent, even though the fabric for that would just be maybe $150 or something, but it all runs on a tight budget when you start up a business and when you start up a farm especially. And my plan is to till the ground with the pigs, pretty much the size of the greenhouse this fall, and then I will put the frame up there and put the plastic on there, and I hope that I can maybe grow a winter harvest in there this upcoming winter. Would like to really try that. Yeah, that's about the greenhouse. I would ideally love to have a double layer plastic to get a better climate there in the next season. So another question about chicks. We are hatching chicks all the time. Right now we have taken a little break because there are some goose eggs in the hatching machine. I doubt that there will be any little geese this year because our male is only a little over a year old and he doesn't do his job so great yet. So the first time I tried, they weren't fertilized. So yeah, I hope that there are some more fertilized eggs here now from the geese, but I doubt it. But we'll continue to be hatching chicken eggs very soon. We have been selling hatching eggs all spring long. Somebody asked why I'm sitting in the car. I already answered that earlier. Just to get out of the wind and a calm place. We live in a very small house with 4 children, and would be very loud there. So let me see here if I can scroll through the chat. And will you go fishing at the lake this year? Yes, that's the plan. We have a beautiful lake. We have one of the clearest lakes in Sweden that we live on. It is very big. It's actually over 20 kilometers long and over 10 kilometers wide, and very deep. It's 100 meters deep, and half of the water supply for the lake comes from underground, which makes it very, very clear, very healthy, very pure water, but also very cold. And we have fish in the salmon family in there, and so it's very fancy fish, but it's also really hard to fish with a reel, for example. But we put a net in the lake about 200 meters wide, and we check it daily, and I'm planning on doing that and having you guys join us via the channel, showing all of that as we go out on the lake. It's really good for your soul, just being out there in the nature doing that. It's free food, and another great source of healthy food. It's like a huge forest lake that we live on. There are like no factories, no villages, like smaller, really tiny villages of a few farms, but no towns or anything on this lake. So it's beautiful. You can, in good conditions, you can look 10 meters down into the water, so about 30 feet. So it's a awesome place to live at. So we're planning on going fishing. Yeah. What kind of fish? You know, I will probably have to answer that question once I have looked those terms up in English. I know perch is in there, but it's like a couple of fish that are in the salmon family. I just don't know the English name. I'm sorry. I would have to look it up. What temperature do you have in the cold frame at night? I see a question. Well, I've been trying to keep it at about 5 to 12 degrees Celsius with the electric heater. And we had a crazy temperature drop the last week. And so the heater has been running a little more. So yeah, that's a little tricky, you know, with the temperature, but the heater does a good job. It just costs a little more money. So yeah, that's the temperature at night. Let me see here. Are you allowed to hunt wildlife in your area? Yes, my dad is a hunter. He has brought home both rabbit and deer, and then every fall we do a annual moose hunting with all the neighboring farms together. So there are like 20-30 people, lots of kids that help, and we all go moose hunting together. And I plan to capture that on the camera for you guys. That'll be a lot of fun to do that. Do you think you will have a problem with Sally this year? You know what? You guys have seen on the videos how I have put the cows in this rather small shelter, and that has done miracles. I'm able to go in there. I'm able to be there with them. They've really gotten used to me, and Sally is completely integrated in the flock. Ideally, I would put a bull with them very soon here, but you know, there will be one more critical day, and that is when I take them out if they put them on pasture. But otherwise, I think that it's gonna go well. I don't think Sally is the problem. Now it's just getting the whole flock used to the electric fencing and the daily moves again, because the old cow as well. She's experienced, and she has been with us or not with us, but she has been in a flock and leading cows for about 8-9 years of her life. And even though she's experienced, she has never been part of these daily moves that we're gonna do. So we'll see how that will work. Hi guys, all of you joining in right now. That's great. It's awesome. So yeah, you know, let me see here. England, States, Africa. That's amazing. All you guys. So there was a question in Swedish. Let me take that real quick. Man får väldigt gärna hälsa på oss på gården. Alla kunder kan få komma spontant. Men vi har tyvärr inte möjlighet för alla att lägga mycket tid åt sidan, för vi är väldigt upptagna. Okay, sorry about that guys. I just wanted to answer something in Swedish. So who's Sally? Somebody asked. It's not my mother-in-law. Always had a great relationship with her. Sally is a cow that has caused us a lot of trouble. Let's see here. You guys are writing. When you saw lumber, do you seal the ends and cover the stacks? If not, do you have any negative effects? Well, my dad is really the sawmill expert here, but when we mill our lumber, first of all we have to try to mill it in the spring, because we don't really have these like oak trees and stuff that wouldn't turn bad, but spruce trees and pine trees, we have to hurry up and mill them. And then we have to we have to do that before the summer comes, before the temperature rises and the insects go in and so on. When we mill it, we stack it up right away. We put usually an inch, so about 2.5 centimeters, an inch by an inch, little sticks in between, whatever you call it in English. Stack it up, and for a long time we don't cover it in any way. We just let the wind go through it, and then when it has reached a certain point, we sometimes cover it on the top. We always want the wind to blow through, because at the end, when it rains and stuff, it just makes it a little wet on the outside. But this wood can only be used for framing, for example, or outdoor use. You can't use it for flooring or indoors or furniture. That's why my dad is right now building a wood kiln to be able to dry that wood much quicker. Um, what do you think of highland and forest? Will there be enough for them to live off what's there, or do you think... The highland cattle are amazing. They eat a ton of stuff. They even eat a lot of bushes and stuff like that. But I want to eventually really see how far you can push the highland cattle breed in growth and production. It's not really being used for that today anymore, because they grow slower. But I think it's hard to get any good numbers on highland cattle, just because most people use them as lawn mowers to keep brush down and stuff like that. And it really depends on your forest and where you put them. You would just have to see. I mean, when they start eating up the bark of the trees, they probably don't have enough feed. But I really want to try to put them on good grass and see how well they will do. That's my plan with the highland cattle cows. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me here. Let's see here. Are you planning to use guard goose with your pasture poultry if you can get goose eggs to hatch? Well, we already have 5 geese that belong to us, and 4 geese that belong to us, and 2 geese that are here on a visit from a friend. And we have geese because we use them as guard geese. I've had the geese walk with the layers, my hens, that go on pasture, and they have been going on the rotation on pasture all last year, and the geese have really protected them. I've seen hawks go above them and not come down, just because I think the geese were there. So that's what we use them for. We hatch just because I think it's fun to have young geese, and we also like to eat goose sometimes for Christmas or something like that. No, I'm not planning on going on a world tour like Justin Rhodes. Let's see here. How would you set up a mini homestead on 3 acres? What livestock would you have? Oh my. Well, poultry is always good, I think, because it's cheap to start with. It's easy to start with. It's a cheap infrastructure. It's a quick return of money. And with poultry, you can really help with gardening. You can help with pasture improvement. There's just a lot of benefits with that. And then on a 3-acre homestead, I would probably not get cows. I would probably get sheep or goats. Goats are just not very common where we live. I'm a sheep guy. I've worked with sheep a lot. Worked with a shepherd even that really still went through the mountains with 800 sheep and a couple shepherd dogs. Was amazing. And we've had sheep all along. We had at one point over 100 sheep here on the farm, but right now we don't have that. I want to have them soon again, but you can't have everything at the same time. But sheep, I think, would be a good job there also, because also easier infrastructure, easier to handle, and so on. That's what I would do on a smaller homestead. Wow, San Diego, huh? That's a beautiful, beautiful city. Do you need occasionally additional labor? Well, I have work for 100 people and money for none. Yeah, I bet most people understand that. But you see, we have a big family here. We are, let's see here, 8 adults right now living on this farm, 7 children, and the family really helps each other out. When hay harvest and all of that, we just help each other out. I actually saw a question earlier about hay harvest. We use our little tractor to mow the fields. Then we just dry the hay and turn it over the next 3-4 days. And then we have an old baler that presses soft, small square bales. You have seen me use those ones when I feed the cows. Reason for that is that if we had a baler that pressed hard bales, both square or round, they would need to put in a dryer, because otherwise they generate too much heat and then they can burn down your barn. And these small soft pressed bales, they air through well, so we don't need to have a dryer for that. We just need to make sure it's really as dry as it can get in our climate when we put it in, and you'll be part of that. Hay harvest is also always a really fun thing, and then usually when the last bale of hay is in the barn, we run straight down to the lake and jump in there. Where have I been all over the world? Oh my. Well, my wife is from Oregon in the US, and right now, you know, a lot of my relatives live in Germany and her relatives still in the States, so right now our traveling is quite limited to those countries. But now having the farm also, traveling is limited to the winter time, where family members can help to take care of the farm in the low maintenance season, so to speak. But I've been around a bunch in Europe and stuff, yeah. Never been to Asia. Except for, Turkey. I guess Eastern Turkey would be considered Asia. Do you like surströmming? I try to stay away from the cans when they're sealed in the supermarket. Let's see here if we get a few more questions. This is fun, guys, huh? What do you think? When do I get this year's turkeys? Well, I am planning to get them, and they will be processed. I'm gonna get them as pretty much day-old chicks. I'm gonna process them with 16 weeks, and I want to process them about the middle of October. Last year I had them out. I wanted to have them out till Thanksgiving, but because we celebrate Thanksgiving in our family, but there's just too much of a risk of, 30 centimeters of snow coming, and then they're still out on pasture, and I don't want to finish them indoors. I really want to finish them on grass. So, just do the math, middle of October, 16 weeks back, that's when I plan on getting the turkeys. Let's see here. No, our farm doesn't have any dogs right now. We've never really been dog people, but I see the good, positive things with the dog on the farm. But we'll see. Maybe someday. Do I ever plan to visit to Southern California? I've been in Southern California several times. We have a lot of friends there, but I'm not a celebrity. Do the breasts really taste that much better? Do you sell them for more than others? Well, right now we don't sell any meat birds yet, because we're not allowed to yet. We have to build a butcher shop first that qualifies for food safety regulations, whatever you might call it. But I love my Bielefelder chickens and the other heritage breeds. I love them too, but so I wouldn't say that the breast necessarily tastes better unless you are beyond an expert in food like that. Probably if a French guy is watching this right now, he or she would get very mad at me. but personally, I think the other chickens we raised were great as well. But the good thing is that it really helps you to market the product, because you have the name and the reputation behind the breast. So it really helps you marketing the product, I believe. If you go to a restaurant and you say, hey, I'm raising breast roosters, I think a chef that knows what he's doing is gonna listen to you. Does YouTube contribute a significant amount to your income? Well, our channel has kicked off quite well, even compared with many other channels, but it takes a long time till it really can, till you really start earning money and can make a living off of it. I think you put in a lot of work, like with any business that you start up. And the thing is that a YouTube channel, it costs a lot of time. We put at least 4 hours a day into YouTube, and this used to be 7 days a week. Now it's 6 days a week, I would say. Hi, Ardenbury. So, the thing is that there's also expenses, hard drives and all of that. But I'm really thankful for what the YouTube channel has done, and we started the YouTube channel because we were thinking of how can we make an additional income to what we're doing already naturally. Basically, I'm just being filmed doing what I'm doing already, so that's a great thing. But yeah, I think, if it continues to go the way it is right now, that maybe in another 2 years or something, it would provide an income for my wife, for example. The YouTube channel is a separate business from the farm, and I think if it goes that way, but there are a lot of expenses in there as well. Do you think it's harder to be a farmer in Sweden? Well, I've never been a farmer anywhere else, but I've talked to lots of farmers, and I've written a lot of Joel Salatin's material, and I've actually had email contact with him. And man, don't believe that socialistic Sweden has more regulations than the US. The US is also very, very much controlling a lot of farmers. Joel Salatin wrote a book, Everything I Want to Do is Illegal, and there are a lot of regulations there. Hi guys, still coming in, that's great. Let's see here. How many months of the year does the homestead make a reasonable income from eggs, meat, and vegetable sales? Well, we are really now starting starting all of this up. So far, everything has just been on low RPM. We have been working town shops, all of us, and I hope to really get everything to be much, much bigger than it has been. So far, there hasn't been any significant income made on the farm. But I really think that we will have to earn our money during the growing season, and I believe the main income will be made from mid-May until maybe October. And then eggs would be the only product that we would sell throughout the winter. And on one hand, it's always expensive to have off-season production, but that also helps you to stay in touch with the customers, and it helps you to keep a routine throughout the winter. So that's great. Even though, we keep our chickens for 2 seasons, and then they always go through this time where they stop laying so much. Let's see here. Okay. Are there local laws or agencies that regulate what you sell from the farm? Yeah, I mean, definitely. The European Union has been trying to simplify regulations for small farms like us. So, for example, if you were trying to sell sheep meat or beef or pork, you would need to have a EU certified slaughterhouse, which is ridiculously expensive. But for poultry, they simplified the regulations so that if you slaughter up to 10,000 chickens or even rabbits, up to 10,000, you are allowed to do that with the easier slaughterhouse that only has to meet some basic food safety regulations. So you can also sell vegetables directly to the customer without needing a certain certification and all of that. So there are regulations, obviously, but they try to make it easier for smaller farms to sell that stuff. Okay, let's see here. Great question so far, guys. You see you interacting with each other as well. Do you worry about poultry being a disease vector? I guess the question is if the poultry will bring disease to the farm or to other animals, or salmonella or something. Well, you know, I mean, there's always a risk when you have livestock for sickness. We will be, from this year on, since we're increasing our poultry, we will be sending in their manure 3 times a year for salmonella checkups. But otherwise, through the timed and controlled grazing, the poultry is never in contact with the cows. The cows always go ahead of the poultry follow 4 days behind them, and the UV light will always sterilize the pastures. So in that sense, I'm not really worried about the sickness, for example. Things you can do to keep them healthier. Well, I just think that if you work with nature and you give the animals what they need, that they will be healthy. And that's why I want my birds out on pasture as soon as possible, because that is such an important part. It's not just so they get fresh air and sun, but it's really, that's when the birds do better. They need and want these herbs and plants for the diet that will help them. I mean, so many. It's not a lawn. It's not just what people would think of grass. It's really so many plants that are beneficial for all the different health aspects of the animal. So I think having them out on pasture is amazing. And then another health factor is that we have the chickens in a completely different building or infrastructure during summertime than wintertime. So all pests or whatever that might have been there at the end of winter, they die off because there are no chickens there. So when they come in the fall again or early winter, they come into a pretty much sterilized building again. So try to work with that. And there are like farmers out there who have modeled this really well. Do you have many neighbors? Well, we live in a quite rural area. There are several farms around us, but we are almost the only ones living here permanently now. We had 2 elderly ladies as closer neighbors, but we farm their farms. But they're quite far away otherwise. Our children are the only children, I would say, within 10 minutes. The next town with about 5,000 people is half an hour away, so we are quite far away. Curious, do you only run the cows and chickens through each paddock once per season? The laying hens on the eggmobile that we will use, they will be following the cows, and they will come over a pasture a few times a year, maybe 2 to 3 times. The chicken tractors where we raise our pullets, the little chicks, they will only touch one spot once a year. Otherwise the manure load will get too much. But the chickens otherwise will rotate there. Yeah, let's make this honest. Have there been challenges related to sharing the farm with your family? Family is one of the biggest blessings that you can think of. We are able to help each other out, to support each other, to keep each other accountable, to accomplish so much more than other people would without family. But of course there are challenges. It's not easy all the time to live close together. But I think if you can overcome that and love rules in your family, then you can have much bigger blessings there. But it's hard work sometimes. All relationship is hard work. What do you most enjoy about your homesteading life? Well, I love nature. I just love nature, being in nature, seeing the miracle of nature, everything, just how a seed turns into a plant and how new life is born and all of that. And for me, attempting now to make a living off of that, and once I will have accomplished that, to be able to make a living of what I love so much, that I think that's will be the greatest part about homesteading. Just being able to be out in nature, work with nature, is the greatest thing for me. So yeah, let's see here. If we get any more. Am I a Swedish citizen? Not yet. How is the drone donation idea going? I'd love to help out. Well, my wife and I are still thinking about it. We're still thinking what we should do and how we should do it, but it's going. But we'll keep you guys updated on that. What happens when you get a troll? Well, I just removed a comment on a chat. And I just blocked the guy because he was being very not good. Do you graze your hay meadows? And if so, when do you take the livestock off before allowing it to grow up? We have a very short growing season, but once it starts growing here, it just explodes because we have these, sunlight for, I don't know, almost 20 hours, and it just is so intense. But what we have noticed is that the weather will first be stable enough for a hay harvest the beginning of July, and most of the time the hay then the grass is almost too tall. So ideally I want to graze the hay fields once in the spring, to then keep the grass back a little bit, that it will grow and be at the best quality when I have to harvest it in July. Basically slow down that process a little bit. But I don't know if I'll be able to do that this year yet. This is all very new for me, how we're going to do this controlled grazing and the setup, and I will really have to start a grazing plan and all of that, so we'll see about that. Do you have any plans to get milking animals? I would love to make my own cheese and all of that. We don't really eat much, or we don't drink milk very much here. We don't really use that much milk. We use some for cooking and cream and stuff, but it would be fun. But the thing for that for me is that I have to, starting this up, I have to focus on a couple things like garden and poultry to really get this going. And once it's going and I maybe have a few interns and a few helpers or something, who knows if we're going to get there, but then we could really maybe do something like that. But otherwise I couldn't bear the load right now. In Sweden you're allowed to sell raw milk in smaller amounts. I think it's a few thousand liters per month or something. You're allowed to sell directly to a customer, but I'm not an expert on that. Let's see. You have any opinions on aquaponics? Well, I think plants should grow in dirt and compost. What is your educational background? Do you use your education as in, do you live and work at what you studied? Well, I studied I went to school for farming. So for 3 years I went to farming school. I attended a few classes at college in data communication, computer science, and then I went to Bible college for a while, so I did a few different things. But the farming I learned was organic farming, but it was still using, very much industrial methods. So the farming I'm doing right now, I learned from different people, mainly on YouTube and from books. So it's a bit of a different story. What do you grow for protein? Well, we just grow hay right now on our farm, and we buy all the chicken feed at the moment. I think what I want to do is have a big compost pile and see how much the chickens will eat off of that from the insects and biota and all of that. So it's been 40 minutes. I think I'll fill the hour. Then I will have been with you for 60 minutes. And then we will wrap this up. Let's see if we have some more questions here. Biochar in the soil. I think it's a great thing. Want to learn more about it, but I've heard fantastic things about it. In the Amazon jungle, for example, where it's not a very fertile soil, I've heard, but the Aztecs already have grown stuff there, and it's just amazing. Scientists found out that they had biochar mixed in the soil layers, and that it keeps nutrients in the ground and stuff. So that's quite fascinating. I would like to learn more about that. Yeah. Have you ever worked with bees to produce honey? No, I haven't. Our neighbor, who just lives 2 kilometers away, he does that for a living. He has over 200 beehives, and we get our honey from him. So we really appreciate that. You can't do everything, and I'm really glad that he has his bees fly. He has his bees spread out over a big area, but they even fly to our orchard and so on. Yeah. How many broilers would you like to raise per year if there's a market? Well, if I could even raise, 700 broilers this year, it would help us a lot financially to even get over the winter and to get started. And I think I could sell those easily, but the problem is the butcher shop. I had hoped to build it this spring, and I think we'll first be able to do it earliest the fall or next spring. So, ideally, I wouldn't mind raising 5,000 broilers a year or something. Yeah. And then we have the farm where the family can help with the, days where you slaughter, for example. How long did it take you to get where you are now with the animals and plants? Well, that is a very hard question to answer, because we have just had some animals over a while, and didn't decide, no, we're going to start, but it was just for personal use, and then it got mixed up and stuff. But the thing is, if you have the money and you have the availability of, for example, heritage breed layers, like in the States, you have hatcheries that provide heritage breed layers. You can just purchase them, and you can start with 500 layers from day one producing eggs. I had to buy all my breeding material, hatch them myself, raise them, collect eggs from them, select breeding flocks again, and so for me that part, for example, has been a very long and stressful part. Very expensive. We've just gone negative on that. Cost a lot of money, but I think once I will have that established, it'll be easier. What is the most important thing on your future farming wish list? Well, to be able to make a living off of it, so that you don't have to count every single penny, to when you have to make an investment or stuff, that it basically, I know I will be able to do this, and if one thing goes wrong, I'm still gonna survive. So that is my biggest wish. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, Sally the cow, I think I'm gonna let her live. Why did you move to Sweden? Oh man, that's a way too long story for this, but I moved here with my parents. Straw bale house on property. Yes, my brother Tim, my older brother, has been on video a few times. He has already a few hundred straw bales set aside. He wants to put a straw bale house on the property. Yes, that'll be a fun project to film. Any water issues this year? Well, it hasn't rained much this winter. My dad and I have been planning and looking into putting a water line to the lake. Ideally, we want to have that underground so we can have water from the lake throughout the year. But we will start with just putting a line down for summertime, for garden and animals and all of that. That'll again be an investment of, a couple $1,000 US dollars or something, but it has to be done because our wells, my family's house is connected to one well, and then the other two houses are connected to another well. And last summer we ran out of water because we had such a drought, and it hasn't rained so much, so the water levels are not really up to where they used to be. We have a really high water table here normally. Would I consider doing a video with my neighbor and his honeybees? Yeah, I'm not sure how excited he would be to be in it. Otherwise I would do it. Where did I get the little tractor from? It's my dad's tractor. And just search, maybe it's a coyote. Just search where in Sweden there are retailers, I would say, on Google. Have you only got cows and chickens? No, we have geese and we have turkeys in the summertime. We have some pigs. And yeah, we used to have some horses, but gave up on that. We used to have sheep, and we want to have sheep again, definitely. So let's see. Would you be able to host some interns, people that want to learn? Yes, I would definitely love to do that. We've gotten questions about that already, but the problem is accommodations. We don't at the time have the place for people to stay, simply. We have small houses and big families, and every house has one bathroom, and we can't put that extra work and pressure on people. Let's see here. What's our most valuable tool? My hands? I don't know. Most things here on the homestead, the tools and stuff are owned by by other family members. I'm renting and stuff like that. Are the pigs mainly for your own consumption? Do you plan on selling pork? Eventually I would love to sell pork, but right now it's so they do some work for us and hope to breed and for our own consumption. Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, we have cats. Cats take care of a lot of problem, moles and rats and mice. They're doing a great job. Let the end. What breed of sheep would you like? Well, we have been working with old heritage breeds here from Sweden or Scandinavia, and really well. I have worked some with Dorset from England, but yeah, I really like these old heritage breeds from Sweden. Homestead off-grid makes sense. I think it's gonna be quite difficult to do that. at least right away, but you would have to transition into that, a completely off-grid system. We would love to do that. We have been looking into both wind power, solar power, and then pumping up water from the lake into a pond and using the pond as basically a tank where we can control the water flow, use a generator to get a stable production of electricity. But you know, this is all future dream. Let's see here. Yeah, you know, interns staying in tents and stuff, yeah, that's great, but then they would also have to take a stick and go behind a tree if they have to use the bathroom and take a shower in the lake, you know, because otherwise we have 4 children, 2 adults, and 6 interns in our bathroom. Thank you guys, you love our channel, that is so great. Can you get mail from fans? We're not handing out our address at the moment. What do I think of Swedish flower hens? You know, I've heard of them. I've never really looked into them. My passion is really heavy dual purpose breeds when it comes to chickens, and I don't know if they maybe qualify with that or not, but not really too familiar actually, to be honest, with Swedish chicken breeds. In the deep bedding where you are growing the garlic, how long before the mulch breaks down enough to grow things, and can you use spruce branches? We have used everything there, spruce branches, aspen, birch, pine, just mixed up. And like I said in that one video, it's bye guys. What I said in the video is that we put that mulch down 3 years ago and it went down from 30 to 40 centimeters to only 5 centimeters, couple inches, and it had broken down already. So I never plant in raw wood chips, which wouldn't work, but I plant in the soil or in decomposed wood chips. And it would take that long. If you don't add manure, it just takes a long time. Yes, you know, we have a lot of projects here. I see you guys giving me suggestions. Greetings back to Germany. You know, I don't think that the building itself would be the problem. I think what is expensive is the sewage system. It's all the permits and get all of that started. So there are a lot of thoughts and plans, but you know, one thing at a time. I've got to first take care of my family, make an income, and see what happens. You know, just drop my pen here somewhere. Yeah, I'm sitting in the car for you guys who tuned in later. To get a quiet place here. I see my kids running around out here and yelling. Yeah, the kids' playhouse, we're working on it. Compost toilet. Yep, it works as well. Well guys, thank you so much for this time. I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. I think when people will see a 55-minute video, they will be a bit shocked to watch this, but this was fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your support. It's been great for us. You know, when we started this YouTube channel, we really wanted to give it a few months and see what happens. And it happened. we are very thankful, blown away by how this has gone. So my wife and I said, we're really gonna do this. We want to keep doing this and providing these videos for you guys. And there will be an update on this coming up. I will share a little bit more about that and how important you guys are for that, our supporters and viewers, and you know, to see how you can be part of this whole process. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you, or you will see me, on Monday. And yeah, nothing more to say. Lots of great questions that I didn't get to answer, but really enjoyed this. So wherever you're in the world, either I wish you a good day or a good night or good rest of the day. And now I'm gonna go do my evening chores here very soon. So thanks for watching. Bye bye guys.